All right, let's jump right in. We're going to break down a chase scene that is totally unlike anything you've ever seen. I mean, we're talking about a super high-stakes manhunt. But here's the twist. It's not happening in some sprawling city or a dense forest. Nope. It's happening in a place you probably stare at every single day.
So just think about this for a second. Put yourself in this situation. You're on the run. Every single click you make is being watched. Every move you make is being tracked. Do you think you could escape?
Yeah, that's right. On your own desktop. The entire chase. The whole escape. It's all going down right there between your folders, your icons, your applications. It's such a cool storytelling idea, so let's really get into it and break down how it works.
All right, so welcome to the Manhunt. What we're really talking about here is a story that takes something we all know, I mean the layout of a computer screen, which is usually pretty mundane, right? And turns it into this incredibly tense, thrilling battleground for a desperate escape.
So, here's the official definition. A desktop manhunt. It's this intense chase where the characters are using all the normal stuff on a computer desktop to get away from an enemy. You know, our hero isn't using fancy spy gadgets or getaway cars. Nah, they're using the exact same tools you and I use for work or just browsing the web. But they're doing it with this absolutely life-or-death level of creativity.
Okay, so for any of this to make sense, you've got to shift your perspective. You have to stop looking at the desktop as just, a tool for getting work done. You have to see it for what it becomes in this story. It's an arena. It is a digital battlefield.
And on this battlefield, just like in any great chase story, the conflict is just beautifully simple. It all boils down to two sides. You've got the fugitive, whose one and only goal is to disappear, just vanish. And then you have the enemy, who's laser-focused on pursuing and capturing them. It's that classic cat-mouse game, It's just being played out inside a very, very modern cage.
So what kind of weapons are we talking about in a fight like this? Well, you can forget about lockpicks and getaway cars. The entire arsenal is made up of things that we probably click on 100 times a day without even thinking. Desktop shortcuts, those are now a network of secret tunnels. Browser windows, they're now barriers, things to hide behind. And yeah, as we're about to see, even the humble recycle bin, well, it has an absolutely crucial role to play.
Okay, so how in the world does our fugitive actually do it? How do they survive? Let's pull apart the specific tactics they use. This is literally the digital survival playbook.
This is where things get really clever, where normal, everyday actions become weapons. So, tactic number 1, create diversions. Picture this. The fugitive is just rapidly opening folders one after another, making the enemy's cursor chase a false trail that leads absolutely nowhere. Then, tactic 2, obstruct the view. They start popping open a ton of browser windows, right? Turning the screen into this confusing maze of digital mirrors. And finally, they have to find cover. And this leads to the most brilliant move in the entire chase.
All right, here we go. This is the climax of the chase. The enemy is closing in fast. Their cursor is literally right on our fugitive's tail. There is nowhere left to run. No more folders to jump into. No more windows to hide behind. This is it. The final gambit.
But seriously, what do you do? Where do you go when you are totally cornered and you're out of options? Every icon on the screen is a dead end. Every application is a potential trap. Where is the one single place on an entire desktop that nobody ever thinks to actively look for something?
The recycle bin. That's it. It is so simple, it's absolutely genius. The fugitive literally drags their own file icon and drops it right into the trash. They basically delete themselves from the battlefield.
I mean, just think about the psychology of that move for a second. The recycle bin is where we put things we're done with, things that are forgotten. The enemy is hunting for an active, moving target. They're looking for something that's running. So their eyes would just slide right over the trash can. It's the perfect digital version of hiding in plain sight. It's totally unexpected, it's so clever, and it's just incredibly effective. So, okay, this is a really cool concept, for sure. But what's the bigger picture here? Why does an idea like a desktop manhunt resonate with people? Let's kind of zoom out for a second and talk about why this whole thing actually matters. Well, there are a few key takeaways here. For one, it transforms a space that we usually think of as pretty boring, our workspace, and it makes it genuinely thrilling. For another, it just goes to show you that you don't need some massive Hollywood budget to tell a really tense, compelling story. The power is in the creativity, not how complex it is. And maybe most importantly, it challenges us to see our own digital world in a whole new light. And that really brings us to the final and maybe most important idea. The screen that you are looking at this very second. It's not just a workspace. It's not just a passive window for information. It's a potential stage,
a stage just waiting for a story to happen.
So, next time you glance at your own desktop, and maybe it's messy with files scattered everywhere and tons of windows open, just ask yourself this question. If a manhunt were to break out right here, on my screen, what kind of story would it tell?